All right, welcome back, everybody. So we're talking about MOG versus music ministers. What's MOG? Man of God. The man of God, including people like the Oyakilomes, and they made some over the past few weeks. I didn't get a chance to cover it. It was trending last week. So let's listen to this.
The media to project an invoice, I don't know what to call it, of a music minister in Nigeria. This is the invoice. So this is it. Let me read what is there. Minister will be accompanied with a minimum of 40 persons. They will all return the day after the event. All right, 4 male members, travel arrangement. Flight will be booked for both the outbound and return journeys. Artists will fly first class compulsory. Team will fly economy. Hotel reservation must be covered by the church. Executive suite for the minister. 2 executive rooms for the 4 males. Meal must be provided for minister and the accompanying person. Preference will be given to Nigerian cuisine. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Honorarium, listen, $10,000. Mode of payment, a non-refundable 50% payment has to be made before we can have this event on our calendar. The balance of 50% must be made 2 days before the event. Thank you. May God bless you. The mistake on that stuff is the word honorarium. The media to project.
All right, so all right, so what has been happening is that the church, the ministers, the big ministers of God especially, led by the Oyakilome, Pastor Chris Oyakilome, they had been at odds with music ministers, the likes of Mercy Chinwo, as you know, over the last month as well. Mercy Chinwo was being dragged by VDM, by her record label, and all this kind of stuff. A lot of people will start to call them, people that call themselves the men of God or ministers of God, is all about money for them, blah, 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 blah. All right, so of course, Timmy Dakolo answered Femi Lazarus. He said, Nigerians, you should believe everything you see. You shouldn't, I guess. Nobody has a 40-man crew in Nigeria. Name the artist in order to justify capping. So Timmy Dakolo is basically saying, stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
All right, so Uncle Patrick, how are you, sir? Yeah, so let's talk. Let me read some of these comments, okay? Because this is a lot of stuff to say. It's Helen Paul, a comedian. She said, na simple yes or no, Baba Fela. If they are coming with a drama group, backup singers, instrumentalists, and technical guys, please just tell the artist you have a DJ. That's all. Thank you, and may God bless you. Right? That's a nice one. Somebody said, Timmy is taking this personal. I hope it's not you, sir. Oops. Timmy Dakolo is the guy who sang Iyawami Ololufemi. That song, No, Timmy doesn't have a 40-man crew. Timmy is just, it tends to be well balanced, if you will. Somebody said, Timmy, please sit this one out. We believed you and your wifey that year. You see, they're using their trauma to shame him. The wife was the one who accused Reverend Fato Ibo of sexual harassment that year. Actually, sexual assault. Anyway, Nigerians on the internet, don't forget. So why shouldn't we believe him? It's not a matter of believing him. A 40 man, you should use your sense. Does that make any sense? That you would complain about a person that chooses to walk around, a musician of 40 people. No, not if it makes sense to have a 40-man band. You can have a 40-man band if it works for your business, regardless if you are singing in the name of Jesus or not. If it works for you, you can use it. If people are paying for it, that means the demand for it and they are paying for it. You supply it, right? Does it make sense for someone to be complaining about it? That's where I want to apply sense now. Anyway, somebody says Sinach own fit reach you. I swear, minus backups and instrumentalists. Sinach, they carry media crew waka. Full media crew. All her ministrations are packaged as live in concert. Because she's Sinach. Hello. She's Sinach. Her song is sung in every mega church in America. She has the right to say, I want a 100-man band. And if you like it, this is the numbers. Why are the numbers right now? And we show up. Any price. any price. It gets too much nonsense. I don't believe in that. It gets too much. If it gets too much, show it by not paying for it. Demonstrate that by simply not paying for it. But other people will pay for it. Exactly. That means you can't afford it. Don't bring Jesus into it. Don't bring emotional manipulation into it. That's what Timmy is trying to say. So as I said this to my sister yesterday, we know all the popular gospel artists in Nigeria, and I've not seen any band members of 40. You are dwelling on the 40 thing too much. Maybe it's a slip of pen when they wrote 40. It doesn't matter. The point here is that somebody is complaining about supply and demand. That is a problematic person. Not Femi Lazarus per se. I don't know why he got so emotional about this, but that is problematic to complain about demand and supply. That's somebody who is arguing with their destiny. It doesn't work. It's a waste of, well, nothing's a waste. You just tell us you can't afford it. Timmy has seen himself in that invoice. Now you say man of God, the cap. Okay, now that's a good point. Timmy could be part of the 40-man group. Maybe they like to bring in their own opening act so they can warm them up. Either way, you can say yes, like Ellen Porcel, or no. Anyway, I'm not going to do that. Okay, now Timmy went forward and then released this. I'm not sure if this makes the point. Timmy Dakolo, this is actually his page. He posted, all this was said in love and with respect, sir. I am not a gospel artist, but a Christian raised in church. Let's not shift the goalpost. By your definition, if anyone charges to minister, they're not gospel artists. They're performers. Now that sentence is all types of wrong, if anybody said that. Okay. And by the definition, if any preacher charges to teach and minister, they are merchants of hope and motivational speakers and performers too. I don't see any problem in ministers of man of God being a motivational speaker. Motivational speaker, they speak hope to you. They quote the Bible. They pray. They pray overnight vigil 3 days in a row, but they are not motivation. Are we okay? It's motivational. At the end of the day, if they can't guarantee that you will get those results, and they are miracle, and when you get results, they are miracle in nature, meaning they're not replicatable, then that's motivational, because most people are not going to get the results that most people are praying about in church. So you are charging as low as $150 per person. This is Timmy Dakolo talking. For your school of ministry, teaching and preaching Jesus, probably having as much as 1,000 students. Let's do the math. You even have premium and standard for God house. Are you selling the gift or revelation freely? See, when you point fingers, always remember that 3 of them are pointing at you. Should you point fingers? Yes, you should, but you should do it in love and be guided when you're pointing fingers. That's all we're saying. Let me see. Daddy Freezer would be so happy. Timmy Dakolo says, such hypocrisy. The school of ministry has expenses. This is the screenshot you're looking at. Is an email from Femi Lazarus School, thanking a person who showed interest in an international school of ministry. And I quote, this training is established out of the instruction to see men discover and effectively deploy God's unique call upon their lives. We would want to bring to your notice that payment validates, meaning if you don't pay, you don't stay. You would want to bring to your notice that payment validates registration. This will close on the 1st of April 2024, after which classes will commence. 12th of April 2024. Kindly make a payment for your premium training package, $150 or 181,200 naira to the following account. And then after payment, they say, dear, let me look at somebody's name. Dear Marriott, we say a hearty congratulations to you. You have certainly made a worthy investment in your life and ministry, and we're excited about the transformation that will be happening in you within the next 3 months. Kindly find attached your admission letter and course outline for International School of Ministry. The point here is like, Baba, you are charging for Jesus. Offered anybala. Salvation is free. But the point I'm making is that all of this is just hypocrisy.
I want the media to project
Hypocrisy at best. Okay. Somebody said, please pay your gospel artists. A laborer is worthy of their wages. Even in the Old Testament, a portion of the offerings was reserved for the tribe of Judah, the worship leaders. I am disappointed in this open argument from the body of Christ. If some people are charging excessively, you are free to decide not to invite them. Don't demonize money and make it seem what they do is not valuable enough to be rewarded. It's beginning to look like the artists are prospering so much and the pastors are unable to control them as much as they would like. It's enough, please. All right, let me see.
I want the media.
Somebody, Plateau is a musician here in the US and a comedian. He says that artist just want chop. Now meal food there. After 10 ogufe each with the team, how them won't take life God's name on high. Non-refundable just in case the pastor didn't like the ministration, Abi. This was the original post before they saw Timmy Dakolo's comments. Somebody said, Pastor Nath and Dusi Oyeko get peace of mind. They are not in this category. Not necessarily. Pastor, so the point this person is making is that Pastor Nathaniel Bassett and Dusi Oyeko have decided not to charge to come to your church. I don't know exactly how they can afford that, but I'm sure they have a business model that works for them. You notice what I just said? A business model that works for them. Somebody is paying for something. Okay? Let's all get off the high horse. Somebody is paying for something. Somebody is paying for the light bills. Somebody is paying for something. I don't know what it is. Somebody's food. Somebody's eating. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Especially Pastor Nathaniel Bassett. Somebody was saying the other day, I think it was Pastor Wale Adenuga that was saying that he can sit jejely because nobody knows him, because he's a songwriter from before there was social media, you know. The Wonder, that song, the person that wrote those series of songs back then before there was social media. His name is Pastor Wale Adenuga. And, you know, he was being interviewed by Chudi. If you go look at the last 3 interviews with Chudi, right, you will see him there. And he was saying that he can fly economy. If he's going to America, he can just fly economy. Nobody is questioning. But someone like Nathaniel Bassett cannot fly economy. Why? Because it's Nathaniel Bassett. Not because he wants to charge big money for first class or business class. It's because he's not going to sit with regulars, not because he's prideful. I'm trying to explain this properly. He will have better peace of mind flying 9 hours flight into America or 7 hours into UK when he sits in first class. Okay, when he can take the other corner and enter the air flight and take the other angle and go through the special places, right? He can pray much more closely with God, so he can come and minister properly. Why? Because he's Olowo Gbogboro Kruna, 500,000 live streaming at the same time on Instagram, on YouTube. See, when you become that kind of person, it's not necessarily a matter of choice that you charge certain amount of money. Your lifestyle, everything becomes more expensive, not by way of cash only. No, see, this is what I keep telling people. People think it's just about their sense of morality. There's a lot more that goes into what we call life than your personal experience. You could be Nathaniel Bassett. You can't relate with somebody that's regular. You could be a regular. You cannot relate with Nathaniel Bassett. That's just how life works. Okay? And somebody like Oyakilome is supposed to know better. Let me play this video.
To save our brothers and sisters who are into music, because this is an area that Satan easily lures them into the wrong things in life. And then once he's able to separate them, he destroys them. Because the separation, he separates them and destroys them. You see people who never knew anything. Everything they ever knew, we taught them. Then we give them a platform.
They never knew anything. Shout out to Pastor Chris Oyakilome. How many people remember him during the 5G era, during COVID era? I'm just going to leave that alone. He said they never do anything. Everything they know, we taught them. I think that's applicable to all of us. Everything we ever knew, somebody taught us, but maybe he's trying to make a point. Let's just continue.
And they don't think that that was a grace given to them in the house of God. After a while, they believe they deserve it. It's not like that.
Oh, that's the point. After a while, they believe they deserve it. Yeah. Problems. You know, people in general, we just... I keep telling you, there are two things you have to watch out for. Either we're talking about relationship at this level, or you're talking about relationship at a political macro level. Two things you need to watch out for: pride and expectations. If you focus on those two things, you'll be a whole lot better off. I promise you. Okay? You will be a whole lot better off. Not just because you're taking care of other people, you too, you have better peace of mind. Because people are not, they're going to have a hard time disappointing you. That's the point of what I'm saying. Without expectations, there's no such thing as disappointment. I hope that makes sense. I really do. Without expectations, there's no disappointment. Let's listen to this. Let's see if he's saying something here.
Because the church was playing games. The church lost their way of worship. The churches were turned into party places, not prayer places where God's word was truly celebrated. No.
What do you mean by church party places? What do you mean by that? Maybe this is what he meant. Honestly, I struggle I personally, this is my personal struggle. I struggle to know why anybody would hate on the party I was just looking at right now. I don't get it. God help me. I don't know everything. I promise you. This one I struggle with, but maybe Marriott has the answer. Marriott says, you book them because they bring you business. Sorry, congregation. Pastorpreneurs can choose not to book them and use their own cheaper musicians. Yeah. Which are usually free, by the way. Why are they free? Is it because they're not worth something? No, it's not because they're not worth something. Oh, actually, you're right. They're actually not worth anything. If they were, they would be charging too. Let's keep going.
Everything changed. The music in the church became worldly. They danced for themselves and celebrated themselves, not God. How many of those singers were soul winners? They were never soul winners. They will lead praise in the church, and when it's time for prayer, they're out. They've gone to another church to do another song. They were professionals, making money from the church, charging for their singing, pretending they were singing praise to God. It was all a charade.
All right, so I'm fully disconnected from whatever he's talking about, because what I was just looking at, yes, at the same time it looks like a party, but it looks like somebody was praising God too. But maybe there's something that everybody else knows that I don't know. But let's keep it
on different controversies.
This is Olumide Emmanuel.
Should they pay? Should they not pay music minister? I think people are just confused. If I let me even deal with that now, so that I can answer some questions. So listen to me.
Welcome to Pastor's.
Why are you interrupting it now, Uncle? Okay.
One of us comes into the church to serve God as our Father and our Creator. And
Shout out to this uncle,
we
Pastor Saul.
operate as a family. So as a family, when we come into this family, which is called the church family, we all look into what needs to be done in the house, and whatever. I'm standing before you right now to tell you, me, Olumide Emmanuel, and the leaders, the pastors are here. Anybody that charges me money to come and sing or preach will not climb this pulpit. Why? You are not supposed to charge for the work of God. Why?
By the way, your boss at work, that CEO that owns the company where you work for, they are using your gift of God to create profit. It's not just church. It's easy to pick on church, but yeah, there's Lord. Let me play this one. Listen to this one. Let's listen to this one.
On different controversies that go on. Should they pay? Should they not pay music visa? I say people are just confused. If I let me even deal with that now so that I can answer some questions. So listen to me so that I can help all people understand. Number one, this is a church. And it's a church of God. And every one of us comes into the church to serve God as our Father and our Creator. And we operate as a family. So as a family, when we come into this family, which is called the church family, we all look into what needs to be done in the house, and whatever we have the ability to do, the giftings to do, we do as part of our contribution to the family. So when people come, they join a department. They are in ushering, they are in choir, they are in children's church, they are in security. None of them should be paid for serving God. So I'm not supposed to pay you because you are an usher. I'm not supposed to pay you because you are in children's church. Hello, I'm not supposed to pay you because you came to church and you greet people. I'm not supposed to pay you because you come to church and you are a protocol. Why? Because everybody is working for God. In the same vein, I'm not supposed to pay you because you play the instruments in church. So all these people you see there, we don't pay them. Why? I don't believe that I should pay you to come to church.
Wait until what's his name? Pastor Paul Adefarasin finds them. Wait until he finds an opening for them. Demand and supply.
On Sunday morning to worship God and play your part in the church. I don't believe in that. And we don't pay anybody. All these people clap for them, celebrate them. We don't pay nobody. Hello? Why? Because
let me explain that. You could be in a church where you have multiple musicians, right? Multiple musicians that can play the same thing, right? So if you have too many people competing for the same position to share their gift, right? It makes sense that you don't pay them. It doesn't mean that they're not using that to get blessings in other ways. It doesn't mean that it's not blessing them in other ways outside of monetary blessings. You know, just because you play for Pastor Olumide Emmanuel's church, that could mean other source of income for you as a church during the week. As a matter of fact, you could also choose to say, you know what, I'd rather do this for church for free, right? You know, but guess what happens if you find yourself as a church in a position where you have an instrument, a simple keyboard, and you can't find anybody to play, but you have 3 people, but they're willing to charge. You say, hey, how much are they charging? $300 a piece per weekend. Okay, all right, $300 a piece per weekend. Since they're all charging equal, we're going to look for the best musician, and we're going to hire that best musician. What is that? Demand and supply. What's the demand? The demand is kind of flipping in because all of them are $300 level, right? But now there's oversupply of $300 pieces, so is the best player may win, right? But what happens if all 3 of them are free and they would like to play for a Pastor Olumide Emmanuel's church? Then it becomes Pastor Olumide is the one who is supplying, and there's a demand. These are things that we don't need to overcomplicate before we can simply like don't stop shaming, like this indirect shaming. It's not going to work, because at the end of the day, if, like I said, if Paul Adefara sing or somebody has an opening for them and they could charge for it, they're going to go. It's only a matter of time. And then some exceptions, some that will not go, yes, but that person is one person too, right? They're one person. God forbid something happens to them, they turn 100 years old and they go to where old people go. Will you still not need other instrumentalists? Let's humble ourselves. In any of these topics, it doesn't matter if we're talking about church, if we're talking about just Adito, any one of these things. Let's humble ourselves in how we handle these things. Mara says, okay, to enrich your pastors, but not the musicians. There is God. My dad is part of a very famous church and came from a not so famous church. He has been paid since he was in his 20s. He is the choir master and plays the organ for his church. See? Does Pastor Olumide get any types of funds from the church? Does he provide an annual financial to his church? Here's the thing. He might argue that I don't get paid from my church. It doesn't change the principle of demand and supply. He might even argue, say, I don't get paid from my church, so I don't think anybody should get paid. Clap for yourself, sir. It doesn't change the principle. It's demand and supply, right? It doesn't mean, like, if we start to dig through it, you probably enjoy from your church, which is, the point I'm making is that it is perfectly fine to actually be able to take care of yourself from serving the people. No, but it's God's gift. Like, no, stop. All of it is God's gift. Just stop for a second. Relax. It's all God's gift. All of this, everything that's good, God made them. All of it. Gift, you can call them any name and sugarcoat the name all you want. You can call them kingdom, whatever you want to call them. They're all gifts from God. You cannot use that to negate the principles that govern this life.
It's a family. If I decide to collect money, Pastor Abraham decides to collect money, all of us begin to collect money. We won't have money to do many things. So
you will. That's literally making money the God. Okay? You're not a slave to the money. It's the other way around. This money is supposed to be the slave to you. Just because you collect money doesn't mean you won't have money to do a lot of things. It's all in money management. It's all in resourcefulness. It's not in if you collect money or not. You can choose not to collect money, but that's not why the church is able to have money to do things. And I know that Pastor Olumide has made good arguments for what I'm saying in the past. So this one is a completely, I don't know what is going on with him in this preaching, but it's completely misguided. It's off. I usually like his take on things. This one is off. It's completely wrong.
As a pastor, I'm also coming to serve God, and then I have businesses that I do. But not every pastor can do that. So those that are working in the kingdom should be paid. So if you are a musician in church and you want to be a part of the staff, you should be paid.
Okay, see?
So we have people in this church
who are staff.
That are staff.
Okay.
Some of them, all they do is they come to pray, to evangelize, and to do follow-up, and we pay them. So they are spiritual stuff. There are people here, all they do is ministry. They come to resume, and then they go for evangelism. Somebody wants to do naming ceremony. Somebody is in the hospital. We pay them. So everyone that is in the music ministry, if someone now says, I want to be a full-time music minister, we will pay you.
Not necessarily true. Okay. Now, nice dribbling there. Nice dribbling, right? Because at one point, I should have listened to this thing fully to understand where it's coming from, right? But then he ended up here. He said, if you suddenly want to be full-time minister, we'll pay you. No. What if everybody's want to be full-time minister? No, you won't pay them. You will only pay them when you see value in them. How do you see value in them? That is a function of demand and supply. And is there enough supply that we will not have to pay you? If we have other people that we don't have to pay, Baba, go and find a job. That's the reality. That is more of the driving force. The driving force is not if you choose, I want to be a full-time minister. Of course not. We have to look at if somebody else can do what you... This is very simple. If somebody else can do what you do much, much cheaper, you'll be replaced. Some people are afraid that AI is going to replace their job. Yes, potentially. If you continue to be as more expensive than AI, yes, you'll be replaced. It's very simple. This is not a church thing. It's life is actually basic economics. It's basic economics. So again, they're making arguments to justify what doesn't need to be justified. It's very simple. If you are easily replaceable, you will replace you. It's very simple. Okay? And it's not just the money. Money is just one little element of it. It's about value. Can we get better for cheaper? Very simple.
Do you understand? Which is what I've offered Lifeline Choir. It is when I offered, they now realize that, because see, let's not play games with each other. The people that come to church have a job they do Monday to Friday where they collect their salary. So when they come to church on Sunday, because they already have a source of living, when they come on Sunday morning, they are coming to worship God. So if you are a music minister, what are you doing from Monday to Friday? So I would rather teach you that that's your ability to play keyboard, that's your ability to play saxophone. What did you enjoy our guys, the saxophone this morning? Let's put our hands together for them. That was very creative and very another flavor. That was good. Now look at all those guys now. Look
Pastor Chris said, nah, that wasn't good. That was a party. We don't need
at them now. Can you imagine now all of them now say, because I come on Sunday, pay me. So everybody go call after backup singer to go say, because I have a voice, pay me. So some of these things.
No. People always make this argument. Backup singer say, because I like but you pay keyboardist too. No, that's not how it works. If you're, it doesn't matter if it's keyboard or backup singer, whichever one you are, if you are easily replaceable, right? If I can pay cheaper to other resourcefulness or resources and get the same result, I will always go cheaper. Why not just pay people what's fair? What do you mean by fair? Define fairness, because I'm confused. Because it's an open marketplace. Oh no, but the church is not open marketplace. No, you're wrong. It's an open marketplace, and if you're easily replaceable, then you better find other ways to bring value. Sometimes the way you bring value is charge cheaper. Okay. Sometimes the way you bring value is actually to charge more. Psychology is involved. Now, we're not going to get into that. Okay. But the point here is that this conversation is one of those conversations that's basically dead on arrival. I just think the pastors are on a power trip. One rule for me, but another for you. They won't pay you. No, they're not going to pay you jack. If you don't have value, it's value for value. That's what it comes down to. Uncle Patrick says, why are we not seeing this in Catholic, Anglican, Baptist, but only in Pentecostal? It's okay to hire them as a musician without attachment to the church. If we dig in deeper into the Orthodox churches, as we call them, by the way, the label Orthodox belongs in the 90s. The Orthodox church today is probably the Pentecostal, right? If we go with that argument and we say, why not? If we dig in deeper into Catholic or Anglican, the old time churches, it still comes down to the same argument: value. That society, value is in the eyes of the beholder. Value has to be defined with respect to context, as always, like anything else. So what context are we talking about? How were those churches founded? How were they established? What kind of doctrine do they follow, right? The reality is that in Anglican, in Catholic, those clergymen, they do receive salary, right? And if they are replaceable, they probably won't receive salary. Now, if there's certain schools, as we know, that they have to go through, then they have to go through certain schools, seminaries, and all this kind of stuff to become who they are. This is like their life. This is their life. So, of course, they're going to pay them salary. What about musicians? Did people value music the way we value music back then? Or even now to today? If you go to Anglican church in Akure, my hometown, if you go to Catholic church, they value music. They play. If you go to Catholic church here, They don't have any instruments. I don't even think they. If you see an organ in a Catholic church here, usually nobody's even playing it. It's just decoration because it's a church. And a lot of those churches, old people go there. Eventually, they sell it to a Niger church. Some of those churches are being sold to Niger churches now. So again, it's value. The people we're dealing with, your audience, what is it that they value? You serve them. Okay, you serve them. It is not about how much money. If you're replaceable, you charge them the value you're bringing is cheaper and cheaper. If you bring in premium, the value sometimes that you bring from a psychological standpoint is if you charge premium. Some people, when you say your price is more money, suddenly they see more value just because it's now saying exclusive, right? So it's just a deeper conversation, but at the end of the day, it's basic economics, demand and supply. If there is a supply, right? So if there's a demand, supply will meet it. It's not something that any one individual can decide. It's something that the marketplace generally decides, you know. They can use it as a side hustle. Yep. My dad attended an Orthodox church for 50 years. He was paid. See, that's another angle. So some people were actually paid. So in those Orthodox churches, you have one organist that might be paid for decades. I think that's what Marriott is talking about. I know those people. They were paid for decades, right? Until they go to where old people go to. And then usually that church is probably becoming obsolete too. But there's nothing that has a beginning that doesn't have an end. That's something that all of us to pay attention to in all of this conversation. If you're a pastor right now and you feel like ministers are with you and they should not go anywhere else, I don't know. That kind of ownership is kind of scary too. There's a word that's coming to mind. I don't want to use that word. I'm not going to use the word, you know. But let me come back to this one. The people that started this conversation was Femi Lazarus, you know, and Timmy Dakolo. Eventually, this was March 24, Femi Lazarus posted this. Oh, let me follow him. I like Femi, actually. I like Femi Lazarus. But I like Femi Lazarus. I like Olumide Emmanuel. They tend to be balanced. But to be honest with you, I've never really listened to a full sermon. Okay. You know, when you talk too much, you say nonsense. All of us. Okay. So, he said, my brother, Timmy Dakolo. So he posted a picture of Timmy Dakolo and him and said, my brother, Timmy Dakolo, is a music legend. Give him his flowers. What a man. He genuinely carries the burdens of musicians. His concerns are real. I love you. Better structures will be built. Pain is real. From pulpit to the pew, the pain is real. But we will be fine. This generation will not have a carryover of pain. Hosts will do better. Guests will do better. We will have a better nation together. I don't know how to edit. My brother, Pastor Iron. I like Pastor Iron too. This is our new age. They're trying to figure things out, but a lot of the older stuff is spilling over sometimes. Let me see what Banky W said. I've just been waiting for this moment. Thank you, Jesus. We move. God is great. Thank you to two great man. And Stephen Akintayo, who is a real estate guy, who is also a church boy, he has something to say. He said, now that I saw this on Femi Lazarus, I am ready to comment. First of all, this is a good debate. Okay, I agree it's a good debate. I do agree it's a good debate. And I thank Femi Lazarus, Timmy Dakolo, and other people who have spoken on this matter. If we had done this about tithing, we wouldn't still be arguing over tithing after 5 years. If the body of Christ responded in love to anti-tithers and opened up for debate, this would have been done and dusted. See, opening something up for debate is not a religious thing. It's literally against the idea of religion. Religion is not open up for debate. Religion knows it all. There's nothing to debate. Take it or leave it, go somewhere else. It's like, it's this, you know, I think there's a part of the scripture that talks about Ashiwerenyo. It's only a lunatic, I don't know the actual English, that will argue if there's God or there's no God. It's not an argument. This is personal to people. It's faith. Anything faith-based is personal to people. And for me personally, I don't like the idea of opening up for debate. Just keep it where it belongs. But when you start to talk about money, people's livelihood, you don't decide to open up for debate. People are going to debate you in Instablog Niger comments anyway, you know. But nice try to be nice to everybody. People that argue for or against this kind of stuff, they're not trying to be nice, okay? Usually they are coming from a very personal place. They might have been traumatized by people who claim to be tithers, but they are the worst. In fact, there's a young lady that I'm gonna have to pull up here. Shola Allison, the lady who sang Ife Bi Eji Owuro Latagbala Eledumare Lo Ti Ṣe that lady. Let me see if I can. Okay, yeah, let me pull it up. Hopefully they won't flag us. this song right here. You remember the song? All right, that song. Aha. Now back to what we're saying. Apparently, she was being dragged on the internet for the same conversation, and oh my God, she answered the trolls. She seemed like she was pissed off. Again, there's no need to get emotional about this kind of stuff. Just answer them gingerly or keep it moving. Before I come to Shola Allison, this man is trying to play love between the brothers. Let's open debate. No, there's no opening for debate. Just understand that whatever your faith says to you will never negate the laws of nature. That includes when you say something is a miracle. That's why we call it a miracle. That's why we call it a miracle at the end of the day. All right. So if you can't replicate it, then it's just a miracle, which there's room for that in life. So I'm looking at the report here that says Shola Allison says Nigerian gospel singer and songwriter. She doesn't consider herself gospel, by the way. She does say Eledumare. She does hang out with the gospel artists and all that. But she had some interesting things to say after she was being dragged into the matter. So Panapa Paul is another guy who was very big in the 90s in terms of Nigeria gospel scene. And he has some interesting things to say against the new people. You know, they are dancing, they do galala in church, they do ogongon inside of church. Oh my God, they do all the challenges. You know, old people in general, they tend to have problems with anything that's new. That's just something that young people should know. That should be part of your emotional intelligence, young people. There's no need for you to sit around with old people and be arguing about why they're not accepting of why they're not accepting your new ways. You should look at them, look around you enough. You see patterns. They do have a pattern. If you're 40 something years of age, you know that you also tend to push against anything your kids are doing right now. It's a natural welcome, babe. It's a natural order of life. Okay, you too, if you're 20 something right now, by the time you turn 50, you might have sworn up and down like, oh, my wife used to say something. My wife would say, I do think she does have a young soul. She's looking at me right now. So like I'm young at heart. I do believe she is. She's looking at me right now. She is young at heart. But no matter how young at heart you are, right? Young people will do certain things and you're like, what's wrong with these ones? It's normal. So in that same token, when older people like Oyakilome, all these old people are saying, why are they dancing in church? Just walk up past, just leave them alone. They say, what is this that you're wearing? Now they're wearing these bell jeans. Everybody's trying to dress after, what's his name? They're not like us. What's the name of the guy that rapped at the, I forgot his name now. Kendrick Lamar, right? Everybody said, what is this? Why you guys dressed like this? I told you before. My one of my sons plaited his hair, and my parents were having a bad day because of that. And I said, I went to Google, I pulled up some 1970s stuff, and I said, what did you I first of all asked my dad, I said, did your father agree with every how you dress? He said yes. I'm like, first of all, that's cap. that's definitely cap. Immediately, of course, I didn't say that to my dad.
Stop the cap.
Oh, sorry, that was a mistake. Of course, I didn't say that to my dad, right? But and now we were eating dinner at a restaurant, and I said, what about this? I said, when they get to that point, you know what they do? Is that, And your mother here, you kids don't know anything. They will just end the call. Why are you arguing with your destiny? Okay, so if you see older people and they have these tendencies to argue with, just leave them alone. See, the older we get, this is one thing. Let me tell you like this: the older we get, the more set we are in our ways. And that's not just set in our ways. Oftentimes, we're not connected at an emotional level to this behavior. We're not like overly self-aware about it. Some of you might be self-aware, but for the most part, there's no self-awareness around it. We just say it's nonsense. We just say it's complete nonsense. You feel me? So anyway, so speaking of Shola Allison, let me come back to Shola Allison. Shola Allison, she gave it to them. She was pissed off because some people decided to troll her on the internet, and this is what she said. Okay, if I were her, I would never do that. There's no need to do that, but this is what she said. Somebody tweeted a tweet. Somebody tweeted a tweet that this Shola Allison left the chat or something like that. She can never relate a whole album and no mention of Jesus in it. Oh my God. She came back and she said, why are you people this callous and unkind? If this is what you are with your own Jesus. Hold on 1 second. Let me put our face there so you can know who we're talking about. I did play her video, but that video is old as hell. Let me see. Okay, this is Shola Allison. She's probably older than us. She's probably clocking in on 50. I don't know her exact age. All right. She said, why are you people this callous and unkind? If this is what you are with your own Jesus, I don't want to be identified with you lots. At that point, they'll say, we knew it. We knew she's not of the kingdom. That's why don't argue. You see, don't, on both sides, whoever is arguing if there's God or there's no God, they are crazy people. Just let you know right now. Can you see why really true souls who have found themselves distance themselves from you? Or is it that you are desperately looking for an addition of light souls in your dark space and you must bully them into joining you? She's talking to the Christian body. You know, she's talking to the loud ones, the judgmental ones in the comments. Or you have low self-esteem and you don't feel enough without me because Koyemi. Because Koyemi. She goes on, or the Jesus presented to you is that who has low self-esteem and looks for validation. Can't you see that you have failed already all these years? Why must I be like your fathers and mothers before you see what I am? Did I ask to be a part of you? Am I not walking my own journey and getting ahead in it? I don't want to be a part of dark souls who outwardly present Jesus. Anyone who does anything like this only calls the name and not of the name. I don't want to be a part of you bullies and manipulators. Leave me to be and face your fellow vain, shallow, and liar souls. Okay. All that is not necessary. If somebody comes and question my own relationship with my God, now I will just laugh at you. I swear. And I mean every ounce of the laugh. Every part of it, you know. But that's where the Christian body is today. Is full of I won't say it's full of. That's very good. Like I said, I like Femi Lazarus. I like Pastor Irene. I like even Olumide Emmanuel. Obviously, I like Pastor Kingsley for the great work he's doing with regards to relationships in general. But every now and then they find themselves back in this very, very judgmental spirit-filled kingdom zone. And unfortunately, it's like our next conversation here. it's not gonna, that tyranny level dictatorship, it does not belong in 2025 and beyond. See what Jesus said about love. You're really gonna need to practice it now. Maybe the first time in your life. Yeah. Yes. You're now in a place where you might need to practice it now. You might have been able to get away with playing holier than thou for so long. If I can speak in tongues more than you, I'm probably holier than you. You might have gotten away with that for so long, but not much longer. Okay? This is applicable to any religious setting or any overly tyranny-based operations like politicians. You can't go so far because people now have louder voices than ever before, and you are now forced to listen to those voices, either you like it or not. And but there's a place for respecting people's faith. There's a place for that, which is why I said if I were Shola Allison, I wouldn't respond. You can't question my relationship with God. It's literally impossible. Okay. All right. I'll be right back. Let's go into Natasha. Not the other Natasha, this other Natasha. Which Natasha are we going to talk about? Natasha Idibia or Natasha? Which one do you want us to talk about first? I'll be right back. It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.